of the show.
Yeah.
Welcome your host, Caddy Frink, as she leads discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Well, hello, you listening beautiful audience. My name is Caddy Frink here at AM 950 with Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. We are here to talk about recovery in our state of Minnesota. And today we have an incredible guest who's going to talk about a worldwide effect that recovery has. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution, brought to you by Minnesota Recovery Connection. I want to say thank you to the donors that we've had over the last year plus with this incredible opportunity that I personally have been given, but what we get to bring out to the listening audience. And so thank you for that. All the volunteers that have been part of our Minnesota Recovery Connection family, you are amazing. Any of the guests that we've had on Minnesota Recovery Connections radio show. I want to have the person across the table for me introduce herself. Who do I have across the table?
Well, hello, Caddy. This is Cynthia Munguia, Executive Director with Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Oh, we got the top dog here in front of me, and she's fabulous. Well, I want to start out the show like we always do. Cynthia, what's right with you today?
Oh my gosh, Caddy. Oh, there's so many things.
I know.
There's so many things. I have just so much in here in my little heart that's just like waiting to just come out, but also being very, very careful with this gift, this beautiful gift that I've been given, and sharing information and where I've been and what I've done. But what is right with me today is that I get to be present. I get to be here. And I get to work with a fabulous team of directors, staff, peer recovery specialists, navigators, housing navigators, volunteers, the board of directors at Minnesota Recovery Connection, and we get to move our programming forward.
Yeah. No, gosh, golly jeepers. So
what's right with you today,
There
Caddy?
we go. I have to do a little prompt on occasion, so that's just fine.
you.
What's right with me today? Let's see. I get to do this show. I mean, this is just the dream come true always. Cynthia came to me a year and a half ago and said, "Hey, Caddy, do you know anybody?" Yes, me. So when I get to come and talk to my incredible director, but also bring a voice to the recovery community and the surrounding community and all the listening humans that are out there, it just brings me joy because a dream has come true that we are not silenced in recovery. We have a voice. And those who are still struggling, they can have a voice too.
Absolutely.
You know, and so what I'm grateful for is just getting to be present in this beautiful moment.
Yeah.
So, you alluded to some exciting things. So why don't you give a little tasty tidbit to the greater story we'll have in after our first break. But what did you get to do maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago?
So I was given an opportunity. I was invited to, as a special guest, to the 50th celebration, 50th annual celebration or anniversary of Hogar Crea, which is the Hazelden of the Dominican Republic.
Oh,
And
fancy.
yes. And so we celebrated their 50th anniversary along with a memorial service for the founder.
Okay.
And as a special guest, I could not believe what was happening at the time, Caddy. If anybody knows me and Caddy knows me, I have a tendency to just, you know what, I'll come sit in this corner and I'll just be right here and I'll just observe. I'm not that run to the front kind of person and you know, be all in everybody's face. I don't have that personality. But
But you kind of do. You really are much more of a flower than you are a shrub. But you have to find sometimes that flower that's within you. Yes.
And I have to find the energy and the energy and the courage to be able to do that and feel comfortable. And so that's been a work in progress in my recovery journey as well. But I was led to sit with the family and the military personnel that were there representing the country. And I was invited to do the convocation.
Wow.
And that for me, that was just
What's a convocation for some of us who don't always know what some of these terms are?
In that space, in that time, it was opening up the ceremony with a prayer.
Okay.
Because the Dominican Republic is a very
religious space.
Christian nation.
Christian. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And also bringing, honoring the memory of the founder.
Okay.
And
so
addressing our audience.
How many folks were there, give or take?
Well, let's see, there's 41 treatment centers, and there was over 2,000 people.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
We're talking huge.
Yes.
Wow. I can see how maybe the lady who likes to be in the back of the room had to be in the front of the room. That might have been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you absolutely rocked the boat on that one. That is just amazing.
And that in itself opened doors for me to be able to speak about Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Well, then also you wrote a book, right? Which got to be part of this whole adventure.
Yes.
So give a snapshot of your book, and then when we get into the second half of the show, I'm going to have Cynthia, because I know a little bit about this, and what's so exciting is that you should see the glimmer in her eyes right now, right, folks? I mean, when we get to shine. Shining is so important. So tell us just a little bit about your book.
So this was a personal trip where my book was going to be introduced to this programming as an extra layer of material that the participants could use to read, because it does have some workbook components to it.
Oh, okay,
response, cool. Questions and response.
Okay.
That requires a written response. And it is my book, Personal Journey. It's in Spanish because it was birthed in the Dominican Republic. And so being able to go back 3 years later and present it to the Dominican Republic, to Hogar Correa specifically, to the treatment centers, was the greatest gift that I've been given. And so it was given to leaders within this organization, but also as a gift to women in treatment, women who are going through this journey. And so that was part of the trip, was bringing myself, my person, and my book back to them, but also taking full advantage of that and really bringing MRC, Minnesota Recovery Connection, also to the table.
Ooh. And I mean, chills are going through my soul. Number one, the book I know is amazing. Your story is amazing. Bringing a larger perspective to recovery, and then Minnesota Recovery Connection, because we need to be seen.
Correct.
We need to be seen as people that can have a low moment, find their recovery, write an inspirational book to support people, bring it to an audience that maybe is a brand new audience. When you use the example that this is the Hazleton of the Dominican Republic, you think about Hazleton and all the books that they write and in the inspirational stories. I am just so I can't find the words, which is really unusual for me. Just so proud and excited that we as a community get to have your story and bring it to the larger audience.
Correct.
And then get to have Minnesota Recovery Connection, because there's a plot twist on this one, folks,
yes,
that we'll get to. But I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
When Cynthia came back from this adventure, she's still shining bright like a light on the top of a hill on top of a tree. But what it's done is I think it's breathed new life into the Minnesota Recovery Connection's future. And, that future includes you folks that are listening to this program. And what I really want, and we're really taking a next step to our listening audience, what I'd like you all to think about is, if you have listened to this program, and I'm sure you have because you're listening now, if you're a new listener, we would love to hear how this program has impacted you, given you thoughts, given you perspective, given you opportunity to see recovery from a different vantage point. With all the stories that we've given you, now it's your turn.
Correct.
Now it's your turn to bring a thought, a story. Hey, maybe even get on the radio with me. I would be honored. I would be thrilled. I would be excited to have you. But at the very at the very most, at least all of the above, let us know how the show has impacted you at minnesotarecovery.org. Just send a note to us, address it to Caddy, address it to the show. But we want to hear how you're doing and how it's impacted you. We're going to take our first break. Thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution here with Cynthia Munguia. Thank you.
I can feel it in my bones more than anything I've ever known. That's people.
Well, there's that happy-go-lucky music bringing us back to Redefining Recovery, a Recovery Revolution here, brought to you from Minnesota Recovery Connection on the incredible station of AM 950, the progressive radio station. And across the table from me, I will let her pronounce her name the proper way, since the first time around I made a mess. Who's across from me?
So this is Cynthia Munguia.
Munguia. Yes, we got it right now.
And I did have a change in my last name, which I completely understand. You're wanting to combine my previous last name with my current last name and create something absolutely fabulous.
And unique to you, obviously, unknowingly. Yes, you know what? Life is what life is. Sometimes I have been called, my last name is Frink, Frink. Oh, let me tell you the ways that has been manipulated. So you know what we do is we just take a little red shade on the face and we go, yep, sometimes we just mess it up. So thank you, Miss Cynthia, for allowing me to have my moment there.
Absolutely.
So we are back with Cynthia. And as the executive director, she took a great journey down to the Dominican Republic, and she just sort of gave you a snapshot of what it looked like to be part of this incredible group of humans, 2,000 plus people. But what I'd really love you to share is how Minnesota Recovery Connection got a new face of exposure and what that might look like, because that's exciting.
Absolutely. So here in our community where we are so already accustomed, maybe we're comfortable with the idea of having a recovery coach academy, of training individuals to become a certified peer recovery specialist, or a peer recovery specialist, a peer recovery coach, however you understand that concept or that role, correct? And so we have been so good at it, and we're established in that.
Doing that. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm concerned that because we're so comfortable with it, we're viewing it as a chuck steak. And when in fact, we're a filet mignon.
You betcha, baby.
Okay.
We need to have that.
And you know, when I saw that in the Dominican Republic, and I saw that in Colombia. Because when I talked about what we're doing, what Minnesota Recovery Connection does, how we are pillars, peer-to-peer services, education, advocacy, I am telling you that the eyes of the listener were like, huh?
What do you mean?
Is that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Oh, wow.
And so we have been invited back to go into these spaces with these connections, these very valuable connections that I made, to go and introduce who we are, what we do, how we do that, and to be able to, it was a seed that was planted.
Nice.
To be able to go water that seed so that it can flourish. Because Caddy, it's not just about us. We are, and this is what I was told, we are global change agents.
Ooh, me likey that.
We can no longer stay right here in our comfort zone.
Yeah, no, we need to step out.
And it's getting out of our community, getting out on a different scale, and not being afraid to go global.
You know what's interesting about what you just said? It really brought me to, like, you're right. Peer recovery services really got its birth. I won't say specific. It's certainly not specifically from Minnesota Recovery Connection. It was out there, but we've had the longest training. But well known. We are completely, and you're right. We now even have it embedded into our insurance community. It's something that we just accept. And when you were talking, it made me realize that the fact that we take individuals that are in recovery, have found their recovery, and we give them the opportunity to talk to the people that need recovery. I think what you're telling me is that it literally just broke open people's eyes. Like, it's not just a treatment center, it's not just a
Right.
therapist, it's not just a case manager. Can the community help the community? And is
Mhm.
that correct? They
That
just
is
didn't
correct.
have that they didn't have that connection.
And it's very family oriented.
Okay.
Very family oriented, because the individual that is in treatment, it's not just the individual that's suffering.
Right.
That's the loved ones, it's the family, it's the immediate family, the extended family.
Mhm.
And we all suffer
Mhm.
when one suffers.
Mhm.
I suffer when you suffer.
Yeah.
You suffer when I suffer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it is this opportunity to be able to share this wonderful gift that we've been given,
Uh-huh.
to be able to give back on a different in a different at a different level, different scale, different language. And yes, recovery is global.
Mhm.
Treatment is global. Training is global. But everybody's given a pathway. Everybody has been given an opportunity to move in that direction.
Mhm.
And if we don't take advantage of opportunities and doors that open for us, then we've lost our purpose for what we do,
Right.
because we got safe and comfortable in what we're doing.
Yep. And I think that's the thing that we have learned, and I have learned with the time that I've been with Minnesota Recovery Connection, and that is um, recovery, substance use disorder, addiction, substance abuse, all that has just continued to like vibrate and open and become something more of a discussion. It still carries a lot of shame, and it still
Mhm.
carries a lot of fear around it. Like, what if somebody does? What if somebody is? But it's like, yes, they are, and they can do better. They
Yes.
can recover. And as you just said, it's not just an individual, it's a community. Is it a family? Is it their loved ones? Is it their friends? Is it, recovery is all around us, just like addiction is that hidden little teeny tiny nut that sometimes people do alone.
Mhm.
I was at a community outreach last night for the Hamlin Snelling uh, Coalition annual get together last night, probably about 200 people. And one of the things that was said by one of the speakers of the evening was, we have this pandemic, we have this issue going on of addiction and homelessness. And I'm practically, cheerleading in the back of the room, like, here I am, here, come talk to us, come talk to us. Because we had Kinsey with us, who has lived experience
Mhm.
living without a home. And it is in the front of our eyes, but it is sort of in the back of people's minds because they're kind of afraid to address it.
Right.
We want to bring it to the forefront. People can get better,
Yes.
and we have to not be afraid to walk into that space. So
Mhm.
here you are bringing this message to a different worldwide audience where they're
Correct.
like, what? You mean peer recovery specialists? What do
Mhm.
they do?
What
How
is
do they
that?
help?
Yeah.
That just is amazing to me, because you're right. We've just been sitting in this soup going, whoa, this is what we do. This is
Mhm.
fantastic. But there's a lot of people that don't have any idea what this is. Other states in our country
Yeah.
are still a little murky on what
Yeah.
it is. And so I just want all the listening audience to think, you know what? This recovery thing is really super cool.
We don't know what we have in front of us.
Yeah.
And when others and that's what really caught my attention, is when others from Colombia, from the Dominican Republic, from other countries that were present there, when they saw what we have, I was like,
Wide eyed.
why are we not seeing what we have? And
Yeah.
I'm talking about us as in a general community.
Yeah.
We have no idea the value, the gift that we have
Mhm.
here and that we can share with others.
Mhm.
And it really opened my eyes to just a world of possibilities.
Yeah. And I think what it brings to my mind, and that is that we always talk about, there are so many people that are affected by substance use disorder besides just the individual. It's everybody. And what we need to do is we need to continue to hear the stories from people. We need to
Correct.
continue to hear how they have both been positively or negatively impacted by substance use disorder. Maybe what did they do to get out of that? And here we have this global idea. And I think about the peers that I get to the absolute honor to train and they want to go to a different state, and they're like, well, what does it look like there? And I said, you know what, it's very individual what each state does.
Mhm.
And then I am now realizing that I have to encourage people, when you go to another state, and I usually say this, please go to their human resources, or not human resources, their public health organizations that they have in that state. What are their funding sources? What are the services that they offer?
Mhm.
But we can be everywhere. And you're
Correct.
right. We need to share this wealth. We need to
Mhm.
share and spread this wealth, and realize that it isn't just what we do at Minnesota Recovery Connection. It is a real opportunity for people to invest in their communities
Mhm.
and invest in the next layer of support that can be brought out. And
Correct.
it's just so amazing, because her bright eyes are looking at my eyes, and we're just like, this could be global.
Mhm.
Actually, it already is.
It already
It
is.
already is. And you planted the seed, as you said.
It is. Yes.
And what we get to do is we get to engage more people that maybe feel like they don't have a place to help other people. But
Mhm.
I think that's the magical thing about a peer recovery specialist, is that every person that I get to talk to in a class, they say, if I can only help one more person,
Exactly.
one other person. Well, guess what? If we take that and we
Multiply it.
multiply it by one person, helps one person, helps one person, helps one person,
What's that ripple effect?
we're going to kick this addiction.
Mm.
I almost said a very bad word, but I didn't. We have the opportunity to interrupt this epidemic of opioid use disorder, alcoholism, substance use disorder situation we're in. And it's really tough, but we can do it, because we can do it one person at a time.
Correct. Correct. And that's where we come together now today, here and now, is when we think about our listening audience, and we think about, how can we hear your voice? Who are you? What's your story? Let us open the door. And we're opening the door today, and we're inviting you to come into this space and tell us your story. Who are you? Come in and have a seat. Come dine with us.
Yeah, when there's invitation on the table. I also want to reach out to those who might not have struggled with substance use disorder. We have so many allies out there. I know personally that there are people who are listening, have listened to this program, who have not directly struggled with substance use disorder, but they listen to this program. And what is your takeaway too? What is it that maybe you've had your eyes open to, and you see a person who's maybe on the corner, maybe not looking so well, rather than sometimes we go, huh, poor them. We go, oh, I wonder if there's something I can do. Is there a charity I can donate to in this neighborhood? Is there a resource that I can donate to? Minnesota Recovery Connection has feelers out throughout the entire state of Minnesota. Can we donate to Minnesota Recovery Connection
Correct.
so that they can do more of their good work?
Mhm.
I'd love to hear from those individuals as well, because it takes a village. It
It
takes a
does.
village to find people, find the people that are hurting,
Mhm.
and then give the resources to those who are struggling. But then the people who are around the people who are struggling, I say that more times than I probably should, and that is, it's not, as you said, Cynthia, it's not just one person. It's a family, it's a friendship, it's a community that struggles when
Right.
somebody's,
Mhm.
in their worst moment.
And for the extended individual families or circle that doesn't struggle with substance use disorder, trying to understand. Well, if you could just stop if you really wanted to. And we've heard that so many times, and that's where education also comes in. Here, let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about what this looks like. You know, how do we come together? Another important point for Minnesota Recovery Connection and Redefining Recovery is bringing that team together that will continue to support this radio program going forward.
Mhm.
As we look at the next 2 years, 3 years, even into 2026, is opening our front door to our community, our listening audience, and saying, come,
Come talk
dine,
to us.
come talk to us, come dine with us, but at the same time, um, support us in order to continue to do this very valuable work of sending these messages out in the airways. And so that's where we have an open invitation.
Yeah. And I think for anybody listening, a couple of classes that Minnesota Recovery Connection is going to be opening up to the general public, and they might be informational sessions in the beginning and then opportunities for more depth in learning. We're going to be working with a couple of local organizations about harm reduction. A lot of people are really confused about what harm reduction is. And harm reduction basically is a way that we can save people's lives by reducing the harm, like using seatbelts, like using helmets, sunscreen. Harm reduction reduces the harm for people. And that same thing works with substance use disorder, reducing the harm. We talk about compassion fatigue in our community because anybody who works with people who draw energy out of us, we can sometimes be depleted. And so we're going to be doing some compassion fatigue classes and sessions. So there's more educational opportunities for all people in the general public. So you don't just have to be in recovery.
Correct.
You don't have to be somebody who is struggling with a substance use disorder. We want to open up our doors to people who are just curious about how do I help and understand even a new topic. What is harm reduction? I just want to know more about it. So when I hear it on the radio, I don't know, Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution, that I understand it more. And if somebody in my neighborhood, or I go to a neighborhood event like I was just at last night, and somebody says, yeah, this neighbor of mine, they're really drinking too much. I don't know what to do. Well, you know what? You might pick up a trick or two on how to just say, hey, tell me what's going on in your life. Maybe you need an extra meal. Maybe you just need somebody to talk to. Hey, can we have a bonfire in the back of the backyard and I can give you some company? Because sometimes loneliness is what brings on substance use disorder or life changes. And if we are more aware of things like that. So, and compassion fatigue, I think if anybody's ever burnt out on a job, hello, that's compassion fatigue. Those are the warning signs. Let's have you come into a learning session at Minnesota Recovery Connection and give you an opportunity just to see yourself in a light that is just more, because we're about recovery, but we're about recovering the community.
Yes.
And I think, what can we do to help envelop our community? And you know what? That means we need to hear from our community.
Exactly.
Bring it to us, folks. What do you want to learn about? We are experts in our own field, but we're not experts in your life.
Exactly.
And what is it that you can bring to us that you are concerned about? I will absolutely unequivocally say that we cannot fix everything. We probably can't fix the problem, but what we can do is we can help educate you on a topic. And then maybe we can give you the resources on how to reach out to council members, how to reach out to mayors, governors, your elected officials. We can't solve things, but what we can do is we can be a community that has a voice, and we say, hey, we hear you.
Right.
And that's what we're doing now with some of these neighborhood events. We're saying, what's going on in your neighborhood? Is there something that we can bring to you that will help you understand what's going on?
Correct. Yeah. And so we can be reached at info@minnesotarecovery.org. If you are interested, listening audience, if you are interested in being on the show and sharing your story, email us.
Yeah.
Call us. Send us an email at info@minnesotarecovery.org.
And I will personally get back to you as best as I possibly can.
Yes.
This is kind of a new twist we're taking on this, folks, and we're doing it because we want to sustain this incredible opportunity of reaching out to people. And what we've done over the last about 100 shows now is we've given you a snapshot of what people in recovery are going through, what they've gone through, the different methods, the different spaces, the different places that we inhabit. And now what we get to do is we get to say, hey, what has that meant to you? What does that look like to you?
Correct.
To sustain this program, of course, we need donations. We're a nonprofit organization. We are strong, we are mighty, but we are still little, and we are still always championing for that extra support. So, if you're interested, reach out to us at info@minnesotarecovery.org. And so, Cynthia, when you were talking to the people down in the Dominican Republic, they don't have peer recovery services at all. They have their treatment. Good for them. Awesome sauce. So they just do their specific treatment. Okay. And you said there are 41
treatment centers.
Wow.
Yes.
So that just shows me in a very small country, they're recognizing that there's something going on there.
Oh, treatment. it started with the founder's son who had to travel to Puerto Rico to get treatment. And when he came back to the Dominican Republic, he didn't have anybody. He knew that he needed another person
Okay.
to be able to sustain his recovery,
Wow.
to be held accountable to.
Mhm.
And so it started with a group of 3 people, and now it's grown to 41 treatment centers and countless one-on-ones,
Engagements with
countless
people.
engagements with people.
Wow.
Yeah,
No, out of curiosity, because we know there are, treatment looks many different ways.
correct.
And probably, do they use the AA
AA.
program?
It's
They
an
use,
AA model.
it's an AA model. Okay.
Correct.
And that must have been sort of mind blowing to them when you were talking about this all pathways, because
Correct,
Minnesota,
because
Minnesota Recovery
Mhm.
Connection, when we do our training, a peer recovery specialist needs to honor all pathways. So what was that look on their eye like?
So I had a meeting with a director from a treatment center in Colombia, and from Colombia. And I was very, very strategic in taking our Spanish Recovery Coach Academy binder,
Okay.
our training material.
Yeah.
And as I sat there and we leafed through the training book,
Uh-huh.
his eyes were like,
What?
"What? What?" So, yep. And he asked many questions. So, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And so it was a wonderful learning opportunity. And I saw it as we have something, Caddy.
Yeah.
We have something that we can share. We can share with another member, another director, another participant, another human that is starving for additional information, that is looking and searching. And how do we do this better?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what we've found when we do this training, when I have this incredible honor of teaching people, when I get to, and there's a gentleman who just emailed me the other day, and he was talking about how when he came in, he was very specifically focused in on what he had been going through for years, which is the traditional models.
Mhm.
And I say time and time again, AA is marvelous in every way, but it isn't the only way.
Correct.
And so he sent me a note saying, "Hey, Caddy, I got certified." I'm like, "Yes, good for you." His name is Rick. I'll just leave it there. And then he sent me another note and he said, "Caddy, I just got to tell you how much I want to thank you for the class." And he says, "I now go to my meetings and I introduce myself as my name is Rick and I'm a man in recovery." He says, "Now they look at me like I'm kind of nuts."
Yes.
And they look at me with a little bit of a side eye
Mhm.
because he's in a smaller community. But he says, "I feel like I'm now speaking to a larger audience." And he said that
Correct.
to me while he was in the class too. He said that he went to his meeting and he walked up to a gentleman and he said, "How are you doing? I'm a man in recovery." And the man reacted differently because it wasn't a message that it was just only one way. And it's
Mhm.
all these different ways that people recover. And I think that's what you got to
Yes.
like shine a light on to these
Mhm.
individuals
Mhm.
that you were talking to. It's like, yeah, your program is great. Congratulations. You have 40 places that people
Mhm.
are finding recovery, but there's other ways that we can look at helping people get better.
Yep.
And that's
Yes.
where the magic is. That's where really the magic is.
And the other layer of that was the conversations to develop an internship program, a dual internship program, where it's reciprocal,
Yeah,
where
sweet.
DR and MRC is exchanging
Wow.
information models. This is how we do stuff. This is how we do stuff, where we make each other better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we have been like the gold standard
Mhm.
for peer recovery services, and I'm proud to say I've gotten to have a lot of years in that. But we continue to grow our training because the world of recovery is always evolving. I say
Correct.
that to people all the time. We're constantly, it used to look one way, it used to look one way. Now we've got peer recovery services. Now we've got all kinds of other ways of looking at what recovery can look like.
Correct.
And so it's that taking information from another space in the world.
Correct.
What do they have that we don't have?
Mhm.
And then what do we have that they're just like, starry-eyed and excited about?
Mhm.
And that sharing is really how we grow. Because if we stop growing, if we stop learning, we stop growing.
Correct.
And that is like a space that I, at my age, have really realized that every day I get to hear a new story about something and a new something about something. I just actually learned about a new substance that's out in the community last night that is helping people with substance use disorder, particularly opiates. There's now a new kind of medication out there, and I was like, "Hey, Kinsey, tell me about that," because it's just kind of beginning to. And this is our world, folks.
Yes.
If you think about the AIDS epidemic, and it was in the shadows for a long time, and then light got shined onto it. Now we're in the substance use disorder. We had an epidemic. Let's come out of those shadows. Let's bring all this great knowledge to the table so that we can get better and do better.
Correct.
And treat people better. So I'm just so excited. I'm so excited about this opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, this is super cool. Well, thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. We're going to take our second break. We'll be back. Again, we are inviting our listeners to reach out to info@minnesotarecovery.org and tell us what your experience has been. But thank you for listening. Cynthia, say hi to everybody.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me.
Yes, we're not done yet. We got another little segment going on here,
Very
but thank
good.
you for listening. And thank you. I just had to
Begging for your change. The hair on his face is dirty, dreadlocked in for the man.
Oh, I bounced in a little too soon. I just love that.
Yes.
That little smooth music. Thank you, Erin Fitzgerald. I always give her credit where credit is due. Welcome back to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution, here with me, Caddy Frink, and
Cynthia Munguia.
Cynthia Munguia. We're going to get it right this time. We are here at Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution at AM 950, the progressive radio station. We're so grateful that you are listening. We have just been really talking about how we can share recovery literally globally, and what that has looked like, and maybe where it's going to go in the future. And our thanks to everybody who's listening.
And we also want to wrap up this segment with just being thankful. We have so many reasons to be thankful. And one of them is that we're here today, and that we've had an opportunity to put over 100 shows behind us and really develop ourselves as a radio program, as a podcast. And now we have an opportunity to build on that for 2026.
Woohoo!
Yes.
A girl's dreams coming true.
And continue to grow, continue to move forward, and look for opportunities for our Minnesota Recovery Connection, for redefining recovery, a recovery revolution, for it to be sustainable in the next year. And that's where we come to you, our listening audience, and inviting you to come and bring your seed.
And then we also know that we are affecting other organizations in the state of Minnesota that might have an audience, that might want to have a voice on our radio station. We'll welcome you to come in and talk about your organizations, help us sustain this program as well, whatever that might look like. What we are doing is, because it is kind of groundbreaking, because there aren't a lot of, I know there are other conversations about recovery, but last show I had with Patricia, one of our individuals at our office, and she said, Caddy, that show was so much fun. And I think I can take my little bow in the sense that where I want you all to know is that I believe in the people that sit across from the table from me. And I believe their stories, whether you're in recovery, you're part of the recovery community somewhere, you have a vested interest in having a healthy community. You have a vested interest in wanting to see people survive and thrive. And so I truly want to say thank you for listening, and let's keep this going. You are fulfilling a woman's dream, but what you are also doing is every person that has had the opportunity to be on this show has felt as though they have been heard. And a lot of individuals that struggle with substance use disorder don't have a strong voice. So let's give that voice to people. And that means that we need to invite
Correct.
and bring people to the table. When we talk about a table as well, we know that we are now venturing into the holiday season. And sometimes this can be a complicated time of year. We've got Thanksgiving just around the corner. So I want everybody to be conscientious about where they go, what they're going to set up for themselves, how are they going to keep themselves on a recovery journey when they might be with people that they haven't seen particularly often, and they might be imbibing in whatever they imbibe in. Have your own recovery plan, have your safety plan, have your buddy with you. Go early, go early, leave early. Don't let the party get into your soul too much. Get some good old food. Get your tummy full, and then go home and watch, I don't know, Netflix or Prime something, or just your toenails grow. I don't care what you do. But also remember, can be a very tough season for people.
It can be.
Because family have expectations, friends have expectations, you have expectations on yourself. So that is just a word to understanding that we need to listen to our internal voices. What's comfortable for me to do for the holiday season? We're going to bring some voices on coming in the coming shows that just give you some ideas on what that looks like.
And don't be afraid to create a new family.
Ooh.
Oftentimes, as a single woman and living in the Twin Cities away from all my family, it's harder to go back to the family. Sometimes it's just not emotionally a safe space to go to.
Oh,
so don't be afraid to create a new family and go have dinner, go have Thanksgiving with those individuals that support you, support your mission, support your vision, even when it's new.
Kind of scary.
And you're venturing out.
Yeah, into that space where you're like, do they really like me? Are they going to understand me? I think I know them, but do they know me? Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about that. I've in the past, I've had sort of like the Friendsgiving where I've had people that are sort of like outside the group.
Yes.
And I come from an extraordinarily small family, but you're like, should I say that? Should I not say that? You know what? Be authentic and also be careful.
Yes. Guard your heart.
But be willing to share, because it really is, when we think about how we have recovered, we are beginning to blossom. I called Cynthia a full-fledged flower because she really is. She wants to sometimes put herself in the shrub corner. But we all have these incredible personalities that sometimes have been pushed down by substance use, pushed down by judgment, pushed down by families. Let yourself bloom. Let yourself be authentic. And you might have to do that, as you said, Cynthia, with a new group of humans.
Correct.
And trusted people. And maybe that's one or two. One or two is a great group too. Just be happy that you get to live in a land of recovery or working towards recovery. And the family members that are around people that are still working on that journey, please give them time and space. If they don't want to be there, it doesn't mean they don't love you. It means that they know that, somebody might be in the group that might go, I don't believe that they're actually sober.
Right.
I don't believe that they're actually doing that, because we experience that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just, word to the wise, we're coming upon
the holiday
season, and this will probably, come just before Thanksgiving. So just want to lay that out there. What closing thoughts do you have for this incredible audience that we have, Cynthia?
Be brave to share your story. Because your story impacts the life of another human being. And you said something, Cynthia, you're like that light on the hill. Sometimes we don't want to be that light on the hill because we're so self-conscious about ourselves. But if we just step out of that, remember, this isn't about me. This is about what I have that can benefit the person across from me.
Absolutely. I was at dinner with a dear person recently, and, life has its complications, right? Life and people in our lives are complicated. And I just expressed something that was going on. And I realized just having that person that I could tell the situation to, who got it, who understood it, was such a magical moment.
Mhm.
We happened to be two women in recovery, but the story had nothing to do with recovery. It had to do with, stuff. And I realized that just being able to go to a person and just talk,
Correct.
have them listen and say, "You're doing okay," took a weight off of me. And I complimented that person this morning and said, thanks for just listening.
Yeah.
I just needed to have somebody just like hear that this is going on.
Yeah.
And their reply was, it helped me fill my bucket too.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, folks, is it takes just a willingness and openness. As you said, I call you a beacon on the top, but you don't have to be a beacon. You can just be a flashlight.
Yes, absolutely.
You can be a flashlight on a phone.
Yep.
That's a small little bright spot, but that might be just enough to make somebody feel that much better.
And it may be just what I needed.
Yeah, just what we needed.
Mhm.
So as we said, and we'll say again and continue to say, we absolutely appreciate our listening audience. We appreciate our volunteers. We appreciate the people who donate to Minnesota Recovery Connection. We are always looking for the support from the community. We want to hear your voices. info@minnesotarecovery.org. Reach out to me, Caddy, at minnesotarecovery.org. Personally, if you want to send me an email, I am always available to our greater community. Cynthia has got a lot on her plate, so I'll filter it through. And if she needs to get into a conversation, we're willing to do that. But we want you. We
Yes.
want you.
Yes.
We think now we've sort of bridged that gap of going we've said a lot of stories. We've given a lot of opportunity. Now it's your turn.
It's your turn.
Yes. So thank you for supporting Minnesota Recovery Connection and this incredible program, Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. Cynthia, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, always, always, always. Without you, I wouldn't be here. So thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the holidays and take care of yourselves. Be well.
Yes.